Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. Sigmund Freud. The story of love is often painted in the most beautiful hues, colored by hope, desire, and the expectation of fulfillment. Yet, behind the veil of romance, the darker aspects of human nature are often obscured, especially when we consider how love interacts with the male psyche. Few thinkers have been as brutally honest about the realities of romantic love as Arthur Schopenhauer. His philosophical insights on love, desire, and human nature offer a perspective that is both sobering and enlightening. Schopenhauer's views might seem harsh, but they cut to the very heart of the matter, offering men a guide to navigating the treacherous terrain of relationships without falling victim to their own illusions. Schopenhauer's philosophy presents a strikingly bleak view of love, one that forces us to confront the uncomfortable truths about our desires, motivations, and behaviors. According to Schopenhauer, love is not some celestial bond between two idealized souls, but rather an evolutionary mechanism, a tool of nature that pushes individuals to fulfill the most basic of needs, reproduction. He paints love not as a fairy tale, but as a biological drive that can often lead men into destructive traps if they are not vigilant. One of Schopenhauer's most significant contributions to the understanding of love is his observation about the way men view women and love itself. In his view, men often project their idealized fantasies onto women, elevating them to the status of angels or goddesses. This is a dangerous trap, for it blinds men to the reality of what women truly are. The Na'vi man, caught in the throes of love, is left devastated when the woman he admires does not live up to the impossible standards he has set for her. He feels betrayed because he projected his ideals onto her, ignoring the reality of her nature. For Schopenhauer, this is the painful truth. Love blinds us to reality, and when the illusion is shattered, the consequences can be devastating. This harsh reality that Schopenhauer presents is not one of hatred, but one of awakening. He argues that it is better to see the truth clearly than to live in a comforting lie. According to him, love, as we often experience it, is a trap that nature sets for us. A trap that men consistently fall into. He doesn't want men to reject love altogether, but he urges them to approach it with clear eyes and a rational mind, free from the illusions that romantic love tends to create. Let's explore the psychological traps Schopenhauer warns about and how his insights can help men avoid them. The first and perhaps most insidious trap is the idolization of women. Men, under the influence of romantic love, often place women on pedestals, adoring them as flawless creatures, almost beyond reproach. In the throes of infatuation, a man will overlook a woman's flaws and elevate her virtues to the point where she seems perfect, something almost divine. But this idealization is a delusion. The man is not truly loving a woman, but rather an illusion of his own making. When reality eventually emerges, when the woman's flaws, her humanity, and her imperfections become apparent, the man is crushed. Schopenhauer's warning here is clear: see women as human beings, not as angels. Recognize that the tendency to project perfection onto another person is not love, it is mental blindness. Love in this sense is often called blind for a reason. It clouds judgment and suspends rational thought. This leads us to the next point: love as madness. Schopenhauer often compares the effect of love to that of a drug. It clouds a man's mind, suspends his intellect, and makes him act irrationally. Under the sway of love, a man might make reckless decisions, marrying hastily, abandoning responsibilities, or trusting someone he barely knows. It's nature's way of pushing men forward, but Schopenhauer warns that such impulsiveness can lead to disastrous consequences. When men are madly in love, they are not thinking straight, and this can lead them to make life-altering decisions without fully considering the ramifications. Schopenhauer urges men to recognize that when they are in love, they are literally not thinking clearly. Therefore, important life decisions should be delayed until the emotional storm has passed and clarity has returned. To act impulsively out of love is to chain oneself to a potential mistake. A recurring theme in Schopenhauer's philosophy is the idea of self-sacrifice for love. Men, in their devotion to women, often sacrifice their own ambitions, friendships, and even their dignity to maintain affection. They may change their life's course to suit the woman's needs, give up their hobbies, pour out money, or even abandon their own identity, all in the name of love. While compromise is an essential part of any relationship, losing oneself entirely in a relationship is a grave trap. Schopenhauer argues that nature does not care if men fulfill their personal dreams or goals. It only cares that men provide for its ultimate goal, reproduction. Thus, men must retain their sense of self and purpose beyond the relationship. If a man loses sight of his own dreams and goals in the pursuit of love, he may find himself adrift when the illusion of romance fades. Next, Schopenhauer warns against the myth of equal devotion. Men often assume that the love they give will be returned in kind. They believe that if they are faithful, loving, and willing to sacrifice for their partner, she will do the same for them. But Schopenhauer argues that men and women experience love differently. Men often love with idealistic devotion, while women tend to love more practically, guided by what is advantageous to them and the potential for offspring. When circumstances change, such as a man losing his status or a woman finding a better provider, her feelings may shift. The man who believed in unconditional love may be left heartbroken, asking, "How could she do this?" Schopenhauer's warning is clear: do not assume that the other side loves with the same philosophical loyalty that you might. Her instincts may override her sentiments. In plain terms, Schopenhauer is telling men to be realistic. Love can be genuine, but it is often conditional. Schopenhauer also warns against chasing beauty and ignoring its fleeting nature. Men are often drawn to physical beauty, and many have been led astray by a pretty face. Schopenhauer starkly reminds us that beauty is a transient, wasting asset. It is a trap of nature, meant to lure men into mating, but it fades with time. A man who marries based solely on a woman's beauty will likely regret it later, as her appearance inevitably changes. If there was nothing deeper in the relationship, the man will be left with nothing when the beauty fades. Schopenhauer urges men to enjoy beauty, but not be enslaved by it. A lifelong commitment based solely on physical appearance is a bad bargain. If a man does so, he should be prepared for the inevitable disillusionment when age takes its toll. Emotional dependency is perhaps the most painful trap that men can fall into. A man who becomes emotionally dependent on a woman can find himself lost when the relationship ends. His confidence, social life, and mental stability may crumble. Schopenhauer, a profound pessimist about finding true happiness in the world, suggests that no person should stake their entire will to live on another. A man who ties his entire sense of self to a woman will find himself hollow and adrift if she leaves. Schopenhauer's warning here is clear: love, but do not lose yourself in it. Retain your independence of mind and heart. If a man allows his entire world to revolve around a woman, he will be crushed when she exits. Nature might make a man feel like he cannot live without her, but Schopenhauer insists that it is essential to be prepared to live on, even without her. These traps ensnare even the best of men, and they all stem from one source: illusion. The illusions about who she is, what love will do for you, and who you become under love's spell. Schopenhauer's philosophy strips away these illusions mercilessly. It shows love not as we wish it to be, but as it truly is. While the truth may be uncomfortable, Schopenhauer argues that it is ultimately liberating. By seeing love as it truly is, men can avoid the destructive consequences of falling for the illusions that nature weaves around them. With this knowledge comes power, the power to make informed decisions about love and relationships, free from the constraints of romantic delusion. This awakening is not easy, and Schopenhauer's teachings can be deeply unsettling. Men may feel anger, denial, or sadness upon confronting these harsh truths. But Schopenhauer's goal was not to make men hate women. It was to open their eyes to reality. Think of it as being yanked out of a pleasant dream because the house is on fire. The dream may have been lovely, but reality must be faced in order to avoid disaster. Schopenhauer himself chose a life of bachelorhood and intellectual pursuit, wary of entanglements. He admired those who renounced worldly desires altogether, such as monks and sages, as truly wise. However, Schopenhauer's ultimate message is not necessarily to advise men to avoid love altogether, but to engage with it with a clear mind. It's not about renouncing romance, but about knowing the truth and using that truth to guide your decisions. In the end, Schopenhauer's philosophy offers a sobering perspective. It frees men from the shackles of false hope and unrealistic expectations. Love, in his view, is not a divine magic that will complete you, but a powerful natural instinct that can lead to destruction if misunderstood. Women, according to Schopenhauer, are neither goddesses nor evil beings. They are human beings driven by nature's imperatives, just like men. Understanding this reality can help men navigate relationships with a new mindset, one that is grounded in clarity rather than delusion. Schopenhauer's ultimate goal was to awaken men from their romantic illusions. Once awakened, men are no longer slaves to the game of love. They can choose whether or not to engage in it, with open eyes and a clear mind. Whether they choose to marry, have children, or pursue relationships without the legal bindings, they can do so with a mutual understanding, free from illusions. And if love ends or a woman betrays them, they will be hurt, but not devastated, for they will understand that this is part of the human condition. Schopenhauer's philosophy is often criticized for its pessimism, but perhaps it is this very pessimism that offers a form of peace. a peace born of clarity and understanding. It is a form of wisdom that cuts through the haze of romantic delusion, providing a path to real meaning and contentment, built not on illusion, but on truth. Schopenhauer's warning still rings true today, and the choice to heed it rests with each individual. Will you continue to live in the dream? Or will you awaken to the reality of love? If you enjoyed our videos, make sure to give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe to Philosmind for more thought-provoking ideas and deep insights.